fact that NAR prophets cannot accurately predict the future is very telling. It shows that the source of their predictions is not God, who alone knows and controls the future. Another common type of NAR prophecy is what we call fortune cookie prophecies. Many so-called predictions made by NAR prophets are so vague, there would be no way to know if they actually came true or not, much like the words found inside a fortune cookie. Have any of you guys ever seen prophecies like this? I'll show you some. I'll show you what I mean with 3 examples of predictions made by the Apostolic Council of Prophetic Elders. This council consists of 20 to 30 high-profile prophets who meet together once a year to collectively receive revelation for the global church. So they'll all kind of pool the revelation they believe they receive from God for the upcoming year and kind of combine it into a word for the Lord that they release at the beginning of every year. And they always put a caveat at the beginning of it that it doesn't necessarily have to be fulfilled in that upcoming year. Even though it's like a word of the Lord for 2022, it could be still down the road. But recent members include Cindy Jacobs, James Gall, Stacey Campbell, Bill Heyman, the late Harry Jackson Jr., who was a spiritual advisor to President Trump, Matt Sorger, and Sharon Stone. But to show you what I mean, here are a few excerpts of their word of the Lord for 2022. The phrase, believe the best, prepare for the worst, was given to us. Seems pretty vague. During this era of the Holy Spirit, many prodigals will come back to the Lord. Conflicts among nations will erupt during the spring. The year 2022 is going to be a year of open doors. New opportunities for jobs, wealth, business startups, and blessings will open, including the buying and selling of property. As you can see, these so-called prophecies are unspecific and vague. How would anyone know if or when these things that they predicted actually occurred? Without knowing what their prophecies refer to specifically, they could be made to mean anything, whatever the prophet's followers want them to mean. And that means they are unfalsifiable and untestable. They're not truly predictions. There are some variations of the fortune cookie prophecy, one we call the archetype prophecies. So have you ever heard a prophet tell someone that they're a modern day Esther or a modern day David or a modern day Deborah? If you spent any time in our circles, then you almost certainly have encountered these type of prophecies. And the recipients of these prophecies usually take great encouragement from being likened to one of those or any other heroes of the Jewish and Christian faith. For example, consider this prophetic word that was given by a woman from Bethel Church during a prophetic Zoom session to a man named Jonathan. So anyone can sign up on the Bethel Reading website for a prophetic Zoom session. At least they could until recently. At the start of the session, the woman went straight for delivering an archetype prophecy, seizing on Jonathan's name. She said, Jonathan, before we even called you, I had like an image, I would say, of the Jonathan that's in the Bible. What the Lord was pointing out through your name is the strength that Jonathan had. He wasn't afraid to go and fight for the army of the Lord, just him and his armor bearer. That he had courage, he had strength, and he was like victorious. So the Lord was just saying that those are the qualities you carry. These type of archetype prophecies work because many things can come to mind when someone thinks of a particular hero. So all the recipients of the same prophecy would likely be able to identify something in themselves that they see to be similar to that Bible character. Like the next variety of fortune cookie prophecies, they're unspecific and therefore untestable. But it certainly makes people feel wonderful to be compared to heroes of the Bible. Another variation of the fortune cookie prophecy we call broad fishing net prophecies. Many NAR predictions about current events are so broad and encompassing that they'll be correct simply because the odds are tremendously in their favor. That's why we call this variety broad fishing net prophecies. They're bound to catch something. Here are examples of such predictions made by Brian Carn, founder of Kingdom City Church, headquartered in Charlotte, North Carolina. They're from Carn's Word of the Lord for 2020. A famous 1980 star dies in 2020 who was a big name. A shocking discovery by the end of August to reveal a great secret that will create a stir. A famous preacher that has heart problems in 2020 and will take a break from ministry. A rapid amount of children overdosing on prescription drugs. I'm just laughing because it's so, be so many people, right? These headlines could be used year in and year out with equal effectiveness time after time. These broad fishing net predictions, similar to the other varieties of fortune cookie prophecies, are too vague to be meaningfully predictive. Clearly, in resorting to such vague, broad, and outright silly prophecies, the NAR prophets have put a large distance between themselves and the biblical prophets, who made detailed predictions, often long in advance of their fulfillment, and they were awe-inspiringly accurate. An example is the prediction made by an unnamed biblical prophet who foretold the rise of a king named Josiah in 1 Kings 13:2. The prophet not only revealed the rise of this future king, including even the king's name, but he also predicted that King Josiah would sacrifice idolatrous priests on an altar and burn human bones on that altar. Though the fulfillment of the prophet's prediction took nearly 300 years, every detail of the prophecy was fulfilled to the letter. 2 Kings 23:15-20, you can see that. And many more examples could be given. Joshua's prediction that anyone who attempted to rebuild the demolished city of Jericho would do so at the cost of the lives of their oldest and youngest sons. Isaiah's prediction by name of the pagan ruler Cyrus, who would arise and liberate the Jewish people. Daniel's prediction about the rise and fall of 4 major kingdoms, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome, including strikingly precise details about Alexander the Great, revealed by Daniel some 200 years before Alexander's rise to power. Elisha's prediction of the miraculous end of a famine in a single day. His prediction included the exact prices of flour and barley. Though he made his prediction only one day prior to its fulfillment, it was contrary to what everyone else anticipated. These are just some of the astonishingly accurate predictions made by prophets in the Bible. We could add the numerous detailed predictions about the coming of the Messiah, Jesus Christ, right? His virgin birth, the town of his birth, his arrival to Jerusalem on a donkey, details concerning his suffering and death. When our prophets' predictions are held up next to the predictions of biblical prophets, there's simply no comparison. The fact that NAR prophets cannot accurately predict the future is very telling. It shows that the source of their predictions is not God, who alone knows and controls the future. As God said through the prophet Isaiah, "For I am God and there is no other. I am God and there is none like me, declaring the end from the beginning and from ancient times, things not yet done. Saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will accomplish all my purpose." Isaiah 46:9-10. Only a prophet who has truly heard from God can accurately predict the future. All else is pseudo-prophecy.